So, I talked about the best ways to build teams as far as leader skills, passives, synergy, and stuff like that, and link skills. So, in this one, I'm going to kind of wrap up the series in which I'm talking about team building. So, if this is not pertinent information for you, if you don't need it, I appreciate the interest. If you're going to click off the video, thank you for tuning in. If you're going to stick around and you needed the information, whatever it is you wanted my opinion, I appreciate that as well. We're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to look at event specific teams. So, follow me with this. This can get a little bit confusing. This is my third time trying to record this because I didn't feel like the other two delivered my message very well. So we're going to try to talk about it here, and I hope you guys enjoy, and please subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new. That being said, we're going to showcase, I was going to showcase the terrifying transforming Majin, the Buhan event, but it's a little bit different in that basically, let me just say this off the bat, any mono team pretty much can beat any event. You know, there are little stipulations like Tech struggles against Buhan. Broly, I have not seen or even tried, to be honest, completing a physical Broly team against Omega Shenron, for example. For the most part, all of these teams can beat all these events, you know, and I've done it several times on all my older videos. You guys can check those out if you want to see a certain team versus a certain event. So, that being said, let me just get the hat out of the bag, whatever. I can never get the saying right, but you know what I mean. Aside from that, man, the other best way to do these things, aside from rocking a standard mono team with whatever you want, based on the information I provided in the first couple videos on how to build a mono team, pretty much, you can bring the teams that have characters with special links or special characters, just in general, right? So taking the Buhan event into consideration, it's a little bit different in that the link is completely useless until you get to Buu Piccolo, in that if you don't have the power bestowed by God link, as you see here, your units basically, when they have this link, they lower his regeneration rate. He's going to regen every turn, but it can either be 400,000, which is over a whole life bar, or 12,000, which is completely worthless to him. So if you have these units on the field at the same time linking with each other, they have to be linking, they'll lower that. If they're not on the field at the same time, you only have one, or the other one comes next turn, it's not doing anything. They have to be linking. So the Buhan event is a little bit different. It doesn't have specific characters. There are, most of the events, in my opinion, have specific links. You just follow through with one link all the way through and you can beat it. For example, Super Vegito, he wants you to use Fierce Battle. You can bring a team full of Transcendent URs with Fierce Battle, doesn't matter who they are, they will damage him. If they do not have that, they're not going to damage him very well. He's got a barrier on him. And no, Tech Guldo, I always get questions about Tech Guldo. Tech Guldo does not work pretty much on any stage but the dang Broly stage. He does not lower defense for Boss Rabbit. He doesn't lower defense for all these events like that. I mean, he does lower their defense, but it's a different kind of barrier. You can't lower their defense to start doing damage to them. He's pointless on any other stage. I wish Theo would have pointed that out, Living Ichio, but he didn't when he showcased Tech Guldo. He doesn't work. That being said, I get tired of hearing about Tech Guldo, man. That being said, moving off away from this event to an event that does have a special link, we're going to showcase the Vegeta event here, in that it has a special link like most events do. The link for this event is Connoisseur to deal additional damage. That means that these units come in and they start wrecking stuff. They start hitting really hard. These are all the units that have Connoisseur. You can find all the information on special characters, special links, in the event information. Hit that little eye on the event with the eye in a little circle. It'll tell you all that. You give it a sec to load. It'll tell you what to bring. So I don't understand why we get so many questions as YouTubers on what units to bring, what the special characters are. People need to stop skipping the news, and you need to stop just pushing through to the event and not clicking the information and reading what they're telling you to do, because they literally tell you how to beat their events. That being said, on the event, Connoisseur units, their link skill still activates. They still get the HP recovery for 5%, but they also hit harder. Now, it does not matter if you have a mono team, but if you do have mono teams, you can kind of play with it a little bit. I wouldn't really generally run Tech because it's just unnecessary strain, but if you wanted to run Tech, you can bring Tech Beerus and Tech Whis and God Tank Sleet and whatever other units you want, Tech Bardock, just to fill out the team. And the Whis and the Beerus will basically hit a lot harder than most of the other units on the team. Sans probably Go Tanks, but you want to run AGL, same goes to the AGL, Beerus, and Whis. This one is kind of, at the bottom is kind of pointless because he's not even out on Global. He was given out in Japan, and they basically never gave him out on Global. There are other units like that, and he's one of them. That being said, once again, because I love saying that now for some reason, let's go back to our team builder. And the same concept, man. You start with whatever leader you want, but the point is that I want to drive home is that you want a leader that gives key. I see a lot of people make a similar mistake. Unless your team links really, really well, or unless you're bringing key support items like the Fruit of the Tree of Might, don't bring God, Kaioken leader, or things like that. Just bring a unit that gives key off, whether it's 2 or 3 key. Try to do something like that because it's easier to beat the events if you can super attack. You may have to heal 2, 3, 4 times, whatever the case is, what have you, but you can beat the event. Whereas if you just have HP, attack, and defense up by 50% and a friend that maybe gives you 1 or 2 key, whatever it is, whatever wacky combination you come up with, you're going to struggle to consistently super attack, which means that you'd innately take longer on the events because you can't super attack. That's basically what the game wants you to do. So take a leader that gives you at least 2 or 3 key, preferably 3. Whether they give you a key buff, attack, defense, all that stuff, just need key. But if you have a mono leader basically that does all that stuff, great. Or if you have the tech skinny Go tanks, the physical fat tanks, or even that STR Grandpa Gohan, who's basically the same as those two, but for the strength type, HP, attack, and defense at 20%. When he gets his Dokkan Awakened, it's not on global yet, so eventually when it does come to global, because it's not even on Japan yet, we just know what he's going to have. You can do that, but choose your leader. For all intents and purposes, Vegeta is an intelligence type, so I'd recommend bringing a more physical-centric team. So let's go ahead and just start off looking at the physical options. Now, this information applies to every single event. I'm not going to do this for every single event because it applies to every single event. Look at the information and build your team, choose your leader, come up with the idea as to how you want to run your team. You want to make sure you have a good balance of super attacking consistently and being able to block, meaning that you want type advantage or you want to have the type advantage because it's, even though you won't always maintain it, when it comes down to the final battle, you want to be able to survive. So let's look at some physical options and we'll go from there. So since Vegeta and a lot of these units kind of go the same way, you want to bring a sealer because they super attack a lot. So you have the sealer, and you also want to look at your special link units, in which there was a couple of physical, and they were Champa and Tech Whis. So Champa and Tech Whis, one link together will give you the HP regen, Tech Whis, SR physical Whis, wherever he's at, down here somewhere. Whis, I know you guys see him, I just don't see him. Whis. Really? Do I have to search for the man? Jeez. Those two have the Connoisseur, which is all they need to be able to mitigate that restriction on him and start doing a lot of damage. So from there, you choose whatever you want. Now, Gotenks could have been your leader because he gives 2 key. That's fine. Maybe he's not your leader. Maybe he's a supporting unit. Let me put Gotenks back in there. But you want your leader, right? Now, you've got those 3, and you can even choose something like Mecha Freeze as your leader. He doesn't link very well, but that being said, he does have the leader skill. And if you need key support, you can throw in this guy, you can throw in this guy, and bring a Broly friend, and you're straight. So something like this should be able to beat the event relatively easily. A Broly friend, you have your key support, whether it's this guy, whatever you want to do. You should be able to beat this event. That's really all these events come down to, and it just comes down to what you're trying to run. Now, another event that has specific links would be that's a good question. I didn't really look into that. Let me go ahead and go back to a previous page and we'll take a look at it. The Paralleled Paragon. Okay. So Gotenks' event wants you to use Super Boos and Piccolos. Any Super Boo and any Piccolo, they don't require a link. These are all the units that are active to do it. You cannot do Buickolo, Bootanks. They don't require a link. They just naturally hit hard. So it's a little bit different, but you could take a Piccolo, any one of these ones here, and they will always hit hard no matter where they're at. Now, since Gotenks is a tech unit, but the other half of the time he's a STR unit, your best bet may be running intelligence or an AGL or whatever the case is, and going from there. But just make sure more or less that you look at the information to see what the special units are and what they are telling you to do, because those units will hit significantly harder than most of the other units on your team. I can't tell you how often people say, hey, can I beat this event? And I'm like, yeah, but you need to go Dokkan Awaken your Piccolo or your Boo or whatever the case is. You don't know what you're sitting on. You're just not using what you have, and you got to look at what you have more often. It's more or less people need to pay more attention to what they have in their box, and that's an honest mistake. I get it, but whatever it comes down to, that's how you basically make these event-based teams. Now, this isn't a very good team, of course. It's not a top-tier team. I can show you like a top-tier team for the Vegeta event if you want to just run straight physical, man. Like, you can run something like this. You don't even need to utilize, I think I said this earlier, you don't need to utilize the special characters and special links. You do not need to do so. It's more or less a perk. You don't have to do it. So if you were going to make a physical team utilizing them, I'd run something probably akin to this, and this will get the job done. Whereas SR Ruisan. Okay. And for our last physical unit, who could be? You probably need a good secondary hitter. I'm trying to look at global. I'd probably throw Vegito Blue in there if this was, JP. But a good secondary hitter. Let's just knock off some of these. You're not available yet. Let's grab Frieza. You've got enough key support there. Let's just grab Frieza. And boom, there you go. That event could be the event. Or this team can be the event. These guys will consistently hit hard. They'll heal you. These two are here to give the other 3 units good key support. And this guy will be able to super attack early. You could do what you want to do. You could drop Frieza for that stunner Goku if you wanted to bring a more defensive type build. You can do whatever you want. I just wanted to make sure that a lot of people are aware of this, man. It just comes down to your options. It just comes down to what you have available in your box and the event that you're trying to take on. So anyways, hope you enjoyed. This is the end of the series. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, I'd love to hear it in the comment section. But as always, have a great day, and I'll catch you later. Peace.